If Socrates was the questioner and Aristotle was the builder, then Nietzsche was the rebel. The man who stood up against 2,000 years of tradition and said, "Everything you think you know about truth, morality, and God might be wrong." Friedrich Nietzsche was born in 1844 in a small village in Germany. His father was a Lutheran pastor, but died when Nietzsche was only 4 years old. That early loss left a mark. From a young age, he was surrounded by faith and discipline, but also by questions that religion could never fully answer. He was brilliant. By the time he was 24, he became a professor of classical philology in Switzerland. Imagine that. A full professor at an age when most people are still figuring out life. But he wasn't satisfied with just studying ancient texts. He wanted to challenge the very foundations of how people thought. Nietzsche believed that Western culture had been built on a fragile illusion, the illusion of absolute truth, morality, and divine order. He looked around at the modern world and saw that belief in God was fading. And he said the words that shocked the world: "God is dead." But he didn't mean it as a celebration. For him, it was a warning. If God is gone, then the old values collapse. Who tells us what's right or wrong? What gives our lives meaning? Without answers, humanity faces a dangerous void. Nietzsche's solution was radical, said we must create our own meaning. We must go beyond good and evil, beyond borrowed rules, and live with strength, courage, and creativity. He called this the will to power, the drive inside every human being to grow, to overcome, to shape the world instead of being shaped by it. And at the center of his vision was the Bermensch, often translated as the Superman, not a comic book hero, but a symbol of what humanity could become. A person who doesn't need old dogmas or hand-me-down morals, but who creates values of their own. Someone who lives life as a work of art. Nietzsche also gave us one of the most haunting ideas in philosophy: eternal recurrence. Imagine living this same life again and again. Every joy, every pain, every mistake, forever. If that thought terrifies you, maybe you aren't living authentically. But if you could embrace it, if you could say yes to it, then you've truly said yes to life. But Nietzsche's life was not easy. He battled migraines, poor health, and isolation. He wrote his most powerful works alone, often in short bursts of inspiration. And then in 1889, he suffered a mental collapse. The story goes that he saw a horse being whipped in the street, ran to embrace it, and broke down in tears. From that day on, he never recovered. He spent the last decade of his life in madness, cared for by his family. He died in 1900 at the age of 55. But his influence was only beginning. His words would inspire artists, writers, psychologists, and even political movements. Some twisted his ideas for their own purposes, but his core message remains: do not live by borrowed truths. Do not hide behind old certainties. Face the chaos, and from it, create your own meaning. Nietzsche leaves us with a challenge. It's not a comfortable one, but a necessary one. If the world has no built-in purpose, then the responsibility falls on us. The question is, will you run from that freedom, or will you embrace it?